If you can't drop in, then you haven't been paying attention. The drop-in is a way to start out any run on a half-pipe. Roll up to the coping, which is the edge of the ramp, and set the tail on top of the ramp so that the wheels hang over the edge. In one smooth motion, drop into the ramp, keeping balanced and moving. A fakie rock is a trick where you roll up to the edge of the ramp, lifting slightly up on the nose and placing the middle of the board on the coping. Stall for a second, and then lift up on the nose, bringing your front truck up over the coping and rolling back in. The feeble grind. A feeble is when the board is in a position where the back truck is on the coping and the middle of the board is touching the coping in a tweaked position. To do a feeble, roll up to the coping, and in one smooth motion, point your index finger and tuck your middle finger. This will lock the back truck onto the coping, and place the middle of the board on the coping as well. You don't want the back truck to go past the coping, or you'll slip out. Put pressure on the tail, and return your fingers to a normal position while you roll back in. A backside pivot is like a feeble, except the board isn't touching the coping, only the back truck locks on. Roll up to the coping and do the same feeble motion, but leave your pressure on the tail. Keep your back truck over the coping, and lock the wheel to it by pivoting at a 90-degree angle. Lighten the pressure on the tail and straighten the board to roll back in. You can do pivots both front side and back side depending on which way you pivot the board. A blunt is a trick where you roll past the coping, stalling the board in a vertical position on the tail. Roll up the ramp, lifting both trucks over the coping. Just as the back wheels go past the coping, apply pressure to the tail, locking the wheels on the top of the ramp. To go back in, pop the tail like an ollie, and clear the trucks rolling in backwards. Try mixing up these basic tricks. For example, do a blunt, but instead of popping straight back in, land on the bottom of the board and stall for a second, like a fakie rock, before rolling back in. You can also combine these tricks with ollies, grinds, slides, and kickflips to do increasingly difficult trick combinations.